Within the week, we heard about the passing of two elder statesmen. First, it was the Afenfe leader, and then, of course, the Pandef leader, Adebanjo, and, of course, Chief Edwin Clark. These are men who have contributed a quarters to the development of Nigeria from the pre-independence and, of course, the post-independence. They've been very vocal, condemning what is condemnable in terms of governance structure, policies, and of course the system of governance. And we've seen them being there, just ensuring that they also speak truth to power for us to have a better society, a better Nigeria. And I know that for sure they will definitely be sorely missed.
Yeah, let's put Adebanjo and always to the core. You know, in terms of democracy, he's just like, you know, a beacon of hope, a beacon of light in the western parts of Nigeria, so about the west geopolitical zone. And for J.P. Clark, a very audible, loud voice in the fight of the Niger Delta. Edwin Clark, yes, thank you, Edwin Clark. I can just remember picturing him when he went berserk then in course of the good election, when it was like, Jega, you can't do this. I was like, man, though old, you could still see or sense the fire in his bones. He made sure that the Niger Delta region wasn't really ostracized. The Niger Delta region was always there in terms of crying out loud about the way the people in that region are treated. After all, according to him, they are the goose that lay the golden egg. He was trying to pull, he pulled attention of the nation of the world to the Niger Delta region, so they can just talk about applied for things to be better in the Niger Delta region. He was greatly missed, a great man. Now, why for Adebanjo, you know, always education is like in the forefront of democracy, is at the forefront. He doesn't like to be subchanged, doesn't like to be oppressed, and people just grew with his own mentality. Even the president right now, believe it or not, he has this part of our war in him. Yet because of this same great men, because of their tutelage, because of their lessons, he just followed up with their map, with their belief. And I just believe that we can do what is in the heart of these great individuals. Nigeria will be better off.
Absolutely. And we've been seeing a lot of reactions trailing these transitions. I mean, that's a picture of the governor of Ogun State, Dakwa Abiodun, who also has said some very glowing tributes to these great men.
Of course. Now, speaking about tributes, I saw a trending video of Adebanjo, and I think his daughter, who actually is a doctor, was filming him, and then he was talking about how he wants to die, and then he was saying, you just wake up one morning, you know, they'll talk about this, and it was just really I don't know the right words to use right now, interesting to see. I feel like right now there's a shift happening, because Adebanjo died on Valentine's Day, February 14th, and Edwin Clark earlier this week, and he was 90-something, and Edwin Clark as well was also 90-something as well. So it says a lot about the shift happening. Now, these are persons who wanted a better Nigeria, who are looking forward to a new Nigeria, but sadly they cannot be part of it. So it's now left for persons behind, persons, you know, still alive and here in the country to actually do the work and put in the work and continue from where they stop. Now the question is, do we have eligible persons?
Beautiful question. Beautiful question. I was waiting for that question.
They have Project Nigeria in their hearts.
Who would actually fight and look forward to see that new Nigeria comes on board? The name coming to my head right now is
there's something Wilson mentioned that you know, Pa Adebanjo and of course Edwin Clark. These are elder statesmen. They've been there over the years, from the maybe the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s. Right? So, which means God really granted them grace to live that long and impact on Nigeria, especially when you look at the life expectancy in Nigeria for a man is around 47 years or thereabout, which means if you are a man in Nigeria, by virtue of the hardship, by virtue of the poverty, the hunger, poor medical facility, you are expected to die within that range. it's not a laughing matter. We see.
You're right about it.
And die within that
and
range,
I just keep
maybe
on
47, 50 or thereabout. But so if you live above that age, I mean, there must be extra grace that has been bestowed on
from
you.
above. But
Yeah.
They actually because they were actually living in wealth, and so they had the money to take care of themselves, perhaps.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's part of it. And you also know that the value system in their days are quite different. Because like I was trying to mention, the present president of Nigeria, the current president of Nigeria, is an Aoist, partly Aoist, like you mentioned.
Yes.
Adebanjo and the rest of them Aoist to the core.
Yeah.
Now the question is, what was the transition like? What were those values, virtues that the present crop of politicians took from these guys to impact Nigeria? That's why we're where we are today. In the days of yore, when you get a contract, you probably will give maybe 10%, kickback or stuff like that.
Which is against the law.
Which is against the law.
Yeah.
That was in the days of yore. But fast forward to today. You get a contract for, let's say, 2.5 billion naira. The exact amount for the execution could just be about 1.5 billion naira. And then these other guys, you know them, your brothers and your sisters.
Our brothers and our sisters.
They come to you, that contract, what we have there is 2.5 billion naira.
Yeah.
So we are sending you the whole money, but the difference of about 1 billion naira, this is what you do. Now, Fela Duro Toye at the Pentecostal colloquium or symposium held recently in Lagos gave a vivid account of an experience he had even within the Christian community. Sadly, he was called by a certain highly placed religious leader. We're looking for someone who is going to execute this particular project of trying to reorientate the minds of our young people on leadership, blah, 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 and all of that. And we've looked around. The only person who can do it is you. Because we've seen that in terms of what you do, how you do what you do, you are without blemish in terms of the system that we have in the country. He said, oh, thank you, sir. After much, conversations, he was asked to send a quotation. He said he sent that quotation without putting his charge or what he charges, his appearance fee or what he normally would take, because he felt that it was an opportunity to give back to the country.
To society,
And so the contract was for about 1.5 billion naira thereabout. So when he said the quotation, the man of God, called him back and said, hey, fella, I know that this contract, you didn't add anything for yourself. And what will happen? You are going to make it. You're going to make it 5 billion naira. I think within that range. So you send it to us. What you will now do, the difference, you put it into this account. And then he said, sir, I don't understand. I didn't quite hear that language. Say, no, you like complicating things too much. Just go ahead and do what I've asked you to do. So he declined. And eventually, he didn't do the job. He said, few months later, he read on the papers, EFCC are looking for the people who handle that contract.
Oh, wow.
See that corruption in high and low places.
Do you understand? So we have people who've had the opportunity to make a difference. What did they really learn? The current crop of politicians we have in Nigeria, what did they pull from the Zigs, the Awos, Tafawa Balewa, Sadana Sokoto, the Edwin Clark, the Adebanjo, and stuff like that? I'm not saying all of these guys who are talking about now, they are perfect. They didn't have their flaws or they didn't have their mistakes. But there were virtues. Pandef leader, Chief Edwin Clark, who's passed, was very vocal about the Niger Delta issue. The East-West road that's supposed to be a major, gateway in the Niger Delta for how many years has been, comatose. And we just keep seeing variation of the contract, movement and no motion. Quite sad.
Anyway, you asked a question. What were they able to pull out from this great man?
Yes.
The answer is nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Otherwise, we won't be where we are today. Anu says they put out something.
What did they put out?
Anu feels that way. You feel they put something.
What? I can't remember saying anything like that, but I think it's a systematic problem.
Yeah.
Because during the last election, we saw a particular guy who was vividly, vehemently standing strong and saying, we know they give shishi, we're not doing this and we're not doing that. And then we saw how Nigerians
responded to the person.
So if we have this one man who says he wants to stand out and do things the right way, will the people also be ready to accept that man for who he is? So it's actually a chain. There's a whole lot of things to be done. I don't know if we need a new Nigeria where God will just come and flush everybody out, and then we have new persons come on board.
You know, the saying is that Nigerians will build Nigeria. Because Americans built America. The British did the same. Even though when you look at global politics and this concept of cultural domination, neo-colonialism, post-colonialism, and all of those concepts, you can actually appreciate how these developed countries, they are the ones that have actually underdeveloped these other countries in Africa and other parts of the world because of their economic policies, which is basically designed to make Africa fail so that they can continue to plunder the resources of Africa. I mean, look at what is there in the public space now. United States AIDS Agency sponsoring Boko Haram.
That is quite disturbing, because I just love the way the
So why would they do that?
Well, you know, it's all about politics, but still Nigerians said are going to investigate that, but you know what investigation will lead to?
Listen.
You know, like what I said, you know what it's going to lead to? We may just end up discovering.
I heard Professor Akinyele saying that even if we do investigation, nothing will happen.
Because it's going to actually bring out legs of other persons.
Nothing will happen. Unfortunately, nothing will happen, because we've seen, I mean, there were reports in the past of sponsors of Boko Haram.
Even in the country.
Those who have been accused of funding Boko Haram. Do you know, is there? What happened? This one we are saying, before you know what's happening, let me tell you, those who will be, named, they will go to the court and challenge it. And they will be going back and forth until they get tired, or maybe they die in the process, and then they die with the case. Anyways, let me get to Josh and get some perspective from Josh this morning. Josh, you've been following the conversation, I guess.
Yes, I have, and it's quite unfortunate that so far so good we've been so much reliant on the West, and the latest discovery is an indication that the system, as it were, their policies, as it were, have never favored us. And most likely, I am beginning to align my thoughts with the Burkina Faso's president deciding that every Western countries who have hold sway in Burkina Faso should pull out, because obviously he had never seen what impact positively their involvement in their political and socio-economic affairs have really brought for the country. And obviously, they tend to be growing right now because everything tends to be taking shape, and the country now owns every resources that they have, and they are generating revenue from it. So if we begin to realize that the West will never help us, they will never come to our aid, the best they will do is give us aid. But of course, as they say, they give you with the right hand and they take it back with the left hand. And of course, if you understand that that's the way they have made Nigeria and other Africans feel that, yes, we need you so as to be able to develop. But then when they are giving us assistance, how are they taking it back? So their policies have always been designed to keep Africa where they are. And it's high time we begin to realize that it is only Nigerians that can be able to build Nigeria. Time has gone by for us to keep looking at the West to come to our rescue. We will build our countries the way we want.